Or would you rather just give us some individual songs to play? Either's fine with me.
I have no idea. You may join it in the middle of a spot block.
Oh, well, that might be bad. I would like to have the link, though, in order to put that in the show notes so we can advertise it for you.
So hold on.
Stream is up. Well, I'm going to take a moment to do our usual distribution method, which, in case you hadn't been here a while, what we do is we share the stream on Facebook to as many places as we can by making our show impossible to miss. Impossible to avoid. Okay. Or at least difficult to avoid.
Trying to find the chat.
Trying to find what, the link? You should have that. Anthony, do you have some stuff that we should be sharing during the show?
So is the chat box a separate link that I'm missing?
No, if you mouse around, a utility bar will pop up at the bottom of your vMix call screen. Things like hang up, kill your video, mute your mic.
There it is.
And one of them is the chat box.
There we go.
Yeah.
Let me get you a Google link to a song here.
Okay. And that way it'll go right to Suncast. He's the one that needs to play it. Because he's Suncast. He is the producer and technical director. Also the keeper of the hot buttons.
Boom, boom.
And it is top of the hour. It's about time for us to start. So here in a second, there we go. Hey, everybody. If you're watching live on the stream, this is the part of the show that we actually cut out for the published part. But thank you for joining us. You've been, if you've been here for a moment, you've been watching us stream, getting ready to do the show. It's This Week in Radio Tech, and today it's our 712th show. Is that right? Holy moly. 712. We have a pretty fascinating topic today, and I'm really blessed to know so many amazing engineers, and the two that we have on today are pretty amazing of their own right. And we're missing one guy. We're going to be missing Chris Tarr. He's not able to join us. Apparently, a truck backed into some outdoor cabinet that holds a translator of one of his radio stations, and so he is fixing that, and he'll be sending the bill to the trucking company, apparently. Yeah, so there you go. All right, we're about ready to do the show. Make sure I've got my little drink here in hand. I've got the Thermal Telos Alliance mug. These are really good. If you're lucky enough to get one of these from, let's say, from John Bissett or from Jim Armstrong or Martine or any of our salespeople, yeah, that's a good thing to have. You say mine's been. You're not supposed to put these in the dishwasher. This has probably been through the dishwasher 300 times, just because I'm too lazy to rinse it out. Because the dishwasher starting to peel a little bit. But man, it keeps stuff. It keeps the cold stuff cold and keeps the coffee hot. All right. Yes, I've been stalling. We're about ready to go here. It is. Let's see here. Get my notes ready. Of course, I didn't print them again, but that's okay. We'll make this work anyway. All right. Suncast is probably twiddling his thumbs, thinking, when are you going to start, Kirk? Come on. Get going. It's 2 minutes after the hour, and here we go with episode 712, and we'll start the show in 3, 2. Hey, welcome into This Week in Radio Tech, the show where we talk about everything from the microphone to that light bulb at the top of the tower. I'm Kirk Harnack, your host. I'm so delighted that you've joined us today. We've got a really cool show to talk about. I'm genuinely excited about. I'm excited about most of the shows, but this one's cool. This one got me motivated and thinking. And there's a little bit of a story behind how this show kind of came to be. Let's just hope the show works out well. I think it will. We got two great guests. I'm Kirk Harnack, your host. I'm in the Telos Alliance studio in Nashville, Tennessee, and it's a beautiful end of summer day here in Nashville. I guess we're going to be going through the false. Well, the fall. We had the false fall last week, and that means it's hot again this week. And maybe we'll get the second fall next week. Anyway, it's a beautiful sunshiny day here. Let's see. Suncast is at the controls. He's producing and directing our show today. He's going to be busy on the controls because we've got a few fun things to play for you. And enough about me. Chris Tarr is a little busy right now. He was going to join us on today's show, and he got a call. One of their translators, their FM translators, was off the air, and he had to go find out why. Well, apparently some delivery truck backed into an outdoor cabinet that is where the translator was. So he's busy fixing that. So Chris Tarr, good luck. We've all been there in various capacities. So good luck, and maybe you can join us back here next week. All right, enough about me. Let's bring in our guests. So this started when a friend of mine, long time friend, I've probably known this guy for 20 years, and that is Matt Aaron. Matt is an engineer here in the Nashville area. He has worked at a lot of different radio stations. He fixes a lot of things. He's an avid ham radio operator, and he's a little bit of a, I guess I'll use the word hacker, in that he finds cool ways to put technology to work. And I don't mean a hacker like the bad kind. I mean he hacks stuff to get it to do something that maybe it wasn't designed to do. And this is one of the things I love about Matt. So Matt Aaron, welcome in. Good to see you on This Week in Radio Tech. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, I'm doing very well. It's been a very good week so far for us here. I mean, we had just like you were talking about the backup there. I had today an issue where, tower crews digging in a trench to put in some transmission line, and they hit the fiber, but I was lucky that I didn't have to actually go there today. So, there's that. So, but
well, Matt,
welcome to our world of broadcast engineering, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and never sleeps.
Well, Matt, you've handled all sizes of projects, large and small. You kind of got your feet wet with some Axia stuff. When after you and I first met, we put in some Axia gear. You did most of the work at the Dave Ramsey Studios when they were at their old location, and then Ramsey moved to this huge new place a few years ago, and you were the technical director for a huge part of that. What an enormous project! They've really got a media center going on over there, and I don't know if you want to talk about that or not, but that's not the topic of our show. My point is just to point out that you are the type of engineer that's handled tiny projects and lots of them, medium projects, and also some truly huge projects. Isn't that right?
Yeah, I would say, studio stuff I love doing. There's a lot of studio stuff, but I also love RF. I mean, one of the things that I've had the privilege of doing is a lot of HF shortwave stuff, extremely high power. We've done some 100 kilowatt, 250 kilowatt. Some I can talk about, some I can't. I always say there's a difference between when you move from 20 kilowatts to about 40 kilowatts, and then beyond 40 to 50 to 60, there's something different that happens, and something stuff that you never thought would breaks down at the 100 and 250 kilowatt level. And you have weird things like you have the shop vac plugged into the wall, and all of a sudden the shop vac's turning on with the beats of the audio. It's like, okay, it's time to unplug that, and the switch is off. I mean, some of the crazy I've seen in that, but yeah, I mean, of course, that's obviously not the topic today, but yes, I mean, I've handled everything. We handle everything. I'm one of the weird, I guess I'll say, in topic today. I mean, we could go over this later, but I mean, you've got two basic kind of engineers. You got the RF and the IT still, and you've got the older gray hair guys like yourself, and I've known you since I'm 12, so I will harass you slightly about your gray hair. But then you also have some of the younger guys that are getting into this, and I work with a gamut of both of those, and trying to make everybody happy, in a world where you do have stuff like AI technology, where I just invented a whole new broadcast genre of music overnight, basically, and started an online station to promote our business tech support just to have fun. I mean, I love our business. I mean, what more could you ask for?
Well, and you thank you for making that great summation of kind of where you've been and what you're doing, because what you've done most recently, this you mentioned AI and you mentioned fun in just about the same sentence, and to me this gives a lot of joie de vivre to what we do as engineers, or it can. So let's bring in our other guest, and that is Anthony Kazub. Anthony, welcome back to the show. You've been here before. Good to see you.
Good day, Kirk. Good day. Thanks for having me again. I appreciate it. It was good to see you the other week. We were at the CCBE, the Central Canadian Broadcasting Engineer Convention.
Yeah.
So it was good to run into you. You're a staple there now, so it's always a pleasure to be on the show and be a part of being a part of that community for sure.
Well, I hope you appreciate it. I threw in a little bit of French there. I said joie de vivre, and
Joie de
I know
vivre.
that.
Yes.
Do you say that
also
in
learned
French? Yeah. Yeah.
No, but we learned a lot about French, like double entendre. That's actually not a French saying. That's actually an
Oh.
English saying using French words, right? So they don't say that. They don't say that in French speaking Canada.
Well, we had some good conversations, a tiny little bit in French, because that's about how much I speak. So, but when I met you, when I reconnected with you in Toronto at the Central Canadian Broadcast Engineers Conference, you had this topic that you spoke on and entertained the crowd, the engineers there with, and I thought, oh, this is exactly what Matt Aaron is talking about, and I've already got Matt booked on the show. Gee, Anthony, maybe you could add something to it. So, Anthony, why don't you give your version of what you did, and let Matt hear that, and then we'll do a quick commercial break, and then we'll start comparing notes. And by golly, audience, you hang on to your britches, because we have some fun a coming. All right, Anthony.
Well, for my presentation, what I did was the audio industry, right? AI. And when it comes down to it, a lot of the stuff that we deal with in the audio industry, we do acoustic interaction, audio interfaces, and there's analog instrumentation that we deal with, and there's always an analog input, and there's always some kind of audio interaction, and again, there's Anthony's intelligence, right? So when it comes down to it, AI means a lot of different things to a lot of different people, and it's an old word. Like, you got to remember that, like, this is a word from 1956, and a lot of people still don't know what it means, because there's a lot of like, everybody uses it wrong. Like, everybody thinks, oh, the world's coming to an end, must be AI. They don't think about deep learning or machine learning or supervised learning or unsupervised learning or reinforcement learning, and then people don't realize that, like, between 1 and 0 there's infinity, and there can exist different stages. Everybody's, oh, it's digital, it's 1 or a 0. It's like, whoa, isn't there something in between that 1 and 0? What's between that 1 and 0? Then there's the branches like deep learning. There's branches like neural language processing. Like, as we have learned about it, there's probably closed captioning happening to my voice right now, but I know that there's some kind of artificial intelligence using some kind of natural language processor doing the thing that's putting the words on the bottom of our screen. So there's expert systems, right? So we have our GPTs that say, hey, how do you do this? If I have this, conditional learning. So there's genetic algorithms, like we've stolen from nature, mimicking processes that deal with natural evolution, and we've stolen from birds. We have swarm intelligence that is a kind of artificial intelligence, and then we have networks, right? We've been dealing with artificial neural networks for a long time, dealing with connections between things. So when it comes to AI, like there's these connections to different things that we have really, really, really taken for granted. Computer vision, right? Like you and me, we're sitting on this computer thing, and we have facial recognition, and we have robot recognition, and so when it comes down to this new fandangled thing that is artificial intelligence, like nobody is really sure how to use the words yet, and that's really what my topic was about, is how the audio uses this artificial intelligence.
And what another great introduction. Two great introductions here to what's coming up today on This Week in Radio Tech. We're going to give you a taste of what Matt's been doing, what Anthony's been doing, and one little thing that I've done. And then we're going to talk about how that pivots into our creative thinking as engineers. And okay, Anthony had a bunch of different things that AI could stand for. I first heard the term as a kid watching Mexican spaghetti westerns, when they would say "Aye." Okay, all right, time for a commercial break. It's This Week in Radio Tech, and our show is brought to you in part by Nautel and the Nautel Digital Radio Test Drive. Nautel, a fine Canadian company with offices in the U.S. as well. Well, they're announcing at Nautel the HD Digital Radio Test Drive, and it's intended to break down these barriers that have kept many of us broadcasters, many of you broadcasters, from trying HD radio. So HD radio transmission has the potential to make critical presence on the car dashboard and help stations stay competitive in a field of lots of media choices based on Nautel's software-based AirChain technology. And that's cool. That's a key also. It's Nautel's software-based AirChain technology. The test drive allows you to try HD radio transmission in your market for up to 6 months to get more listeners, to put more content out there, and to see if you can get some new revenue without needing to install and purchase somewhere between $40,000 and $50,000 of HD radio gear. So here's what you need to do. You need to lease or purchase a Nautel GV2 FM transmitter, or you can upgrade your GV transmitter to a GV2. What does that give you? Well, that gives you just about everything you need in one box to do FM plus up to 4 HD channels. You also need an Xperi main station or equivalent license and a signed trial agreement with Nautel. And then you need to provide some programming. Of course, you're going to provide your FM programming, and you'll have a version of that that's for your HD1. And then if you can add an HD2, 3, and even a 4 with other formats, maybe other languages. Maybe you've got a population that's moved into your area over the last 20 years or so that could be served. Maybe you want to put a lot of sports on the air that you're not able to get on there now. Maybe you'd like to get some affiliations with some state colleges, universities, and get more sports programming. Maybe you'd like to start a comedy channel. Maybe you'd like to play some AI music. That would be pretty interesting, too. They're interesting legal ramifications, maybe. I don't know. But it's all possible with the Nautel HD Radio Test Drive. Check it out from Nautel. Go to nautel.com and look up the test drive. It's one of the first things that you'll find there. Or talk to your Nautel agent. If you're lucky enough to have Jeff Welton, or maybe you have Jeff Wilson as your rep, then those would be good guys to talk to. Thanks a lot, Nautel, for sponsoring This Week in Radio Tech. All right. We have Anthony Kazub from the CBC in Canada, and Matt Aaron, who is a Nashville area consultant and integrator. And, I'm really missing Chris Tarr. I'm so missing Chris Tarr. And so I think that just in his honor, we're going to play just a moment, not the whole thing by any means, just a moment, maybe the first verse of this song about Chris Tarr. And so, Suncast, I'm sorry for the very little notice, but if you have that file ready to play, let's just take a quick listen.
Chris TWiRT travels near and far, building studios, fixing gear. Wisconsin roads under his wheels, radio folks give a cheer. Transmitters buzz, but not for long. Chris shows up, makes them strong. Family man, kids and wife, keeps them close, lives the life. Chris TWiRT makes radio, spreading joy wherever he goes. Wisconsin knows his name, radio is his game.
All right, that sounds good. That's first verse in the first chorus, and that song was. How was that, Anthony? You know something about? Well, so does Matt. How was that song generated? I put some prompts in to write a song about Chris TWiRT using this style.
Yep.
Here's some things about Chris.
What was the prompt? Yeah. What kind of stuff did you say? It sounds like you said a country song, fiddle music. Did you specify a genre?
So the weird thing is, I asked for polka music, and that's what I got. So I didn't, and you and I talked about this, Anthony, that I got not what I asked for musically, but the information I gave about Chris TWiRT in that first verse. You pretty much heard everything. Travels Wisconsin, fixes transmitters. He's a family man, kids and a wife.
So that was done with Suno. Was that done with Suno? SUNO.com. Okay, so Suno is a music synthesizer. I'm going to call it a synthesizer because it synthesizes that background track. It also synthesizes the vocal. So there's two parts to Suno. So Suno has an instrumentation maestro that they call Chirp. Chirp is a text to music generation, and what it does is it generates you take textual descriptions, like you say, you define the style, and it generates a music backing track. Then it uses diffusion models to refine noise into the structure. So with that noise, you're able to create random music that is new and unique to the prompt that you gave it. There's a music composition, there's structure to that, so it knows the things like, well, there's a verse, there's a chorus, there's a bridge, there's a hook, there's a fiddle solo, and then it gives you then it mixes it masters it effectively, but all of it comes down to text to speech, right? That's still text to speech technology. That sounded like auto-tuned music. It sounded like somebody was poorly auto-tuned, and I think the music industry has kind of done it to themselves. Like, that's almost acceptable vocal sound now because we're so used to hearing auto-tuned voice. Maybe the robots sound like humans, and maybe the humans sound like robots, and we've kind of done that self. But that whole text to speech technology, it uses an algorithm to convert that written text into vocal tones, pitches, and because it has a backing track, Suno uses this technology called Bark, and what it does is it creates the tones, the pitches, the rhythms to match that text input. Then it has voice synthesizers, so all of that content is voice synthesized, and it fits that genre and that mood based on its library. But again, it's all these natural language processors. It understands the sentiment, the theme, the elements of the inputs, right? So you didn't put down Chris TWiRT, so the whole song, they know that the context of what you're doing is a positive thing, but it's all based on training data. Like it knows how to synthesize singing voices, because what Suno has done, and what Suno is currently in trouble for, is they sampled every song in the world. They analyzed every song in the world. They know how it's built, and so I believe there's a lawsuit against Suno right now from the Recording Industry Association for $125,000 per infraction of things that they've sampled. So they think it's a big tech bubble. It might be a sacrificial lamb that Suno is, but again, there's a huge debate as to, well, is it based on copyrighted material? should we prioritize people who donate their songs to these types of artificial intelligence companies? Do we need professional? Was that a banjo or a mandolin solo based on somebody else's technology? Who owns the copyright of that song you wrote? Who owns the rights to publish that? Who do I pay for royalties for that song? It introduces these new questions we don't have. So right now, the best word I have to describe this technology that you just demonstrated is it's terrifyingly magical. And I don't know what it's going to turn into. I don't know if people are going to consume it as like a thing. But at the same time, for what we're doing here for a demonstration purpose, I think it's a very exciting technology that we have to pay attention to. And some people use music to relax to. Some people use music to go to the gym to. Some people use music to, it's like a very utilitarian thing. So some companies like Spotify, like Amazon Music, like they don't want to pay royalties to artists. But if you are listening and consuming music from an AI or a music synthesizer, well, you don't have to pay royalties for these things. So there's a lot of very interesting conversations that are happening with this, and we had some of those at CCBE.
So
Matt,
I'll say this.
Go ahead.
I'll say this. I'm being in Nashville. The products that I've been playing with are products that somebody in the Nashville industry that is a prominent record producer sent it to me. And one of the things that AI definitely has trouble with, and like you were talking about, is synthesizing the voice. There's certain genres of music, such as rap, and I will tell you, based upon some of that information that I do know, that the samples that they did in the rap genre, that it does very well in recreating voices. And in the software that I was able to have, I'm able to tweak the voices. I'm able to tweak the lyrics a little bit more. It's not just a prompt-based system. It hasn't been released to the public yet. And I think some of these companies that have developed some of this real AI stuff, like you're talking about, that is more advanced, I think there's a little bit of fear because, the amount of what I was able to produce and how quickly I was able to produce it by giving it some instructions to write the song. Like I did a song on tuning a transmitter, and I had to tweak a little bit of the AI because, obviously it got a few of the things wrong because, AI doesn't exactly know how to tune a 418F shortwave transmitter.
No, you're 100% right. The context is everything, and being able to prompt it, like that's the starting point. Like what Kirk demonstrated there, and can I make Suncast? Could you play? I put in the chat. Guess two. There's a CCBE song that I put in the chat. Can we just listen to that one? Like I don't mean to tell Suncast what to do, but like
no, that's fine. That's fine. We have a song from Matt, but we'll get to that after the next commercial break. So let's, as Anthony's, here we go. CCBE.
Okay, so
tuning to CCBE. Hear the magic set you free. Voices blend in harmony from the minds.
It's getting so good. And to your point, like that is a vibraphone jingle that if I'm making something for a pizza company that's down the street, I wouldn't be able to afford this type of production. Small market studios.
Look at Volvo. They did their whole brand new commercial in nothing but AI, and they did it in less than 2 days. And everything, the music's generated there, the video's generated there. They gave it in, again, that's more advanced AI, like some of the stuff I would been beta testing, but again, 2 days to create that in a commercial like that, they would spend millions of dollars renting helicopters, doing
Yes.
all these massive amounts of things, and it's changing the human experience. That's the part, like when you can sit down and you can prompt an AI, and I'm not talking about the the fake marketing AI. I'm talking about when you can sit down and chat with something and say, hey, how do I do this in Linux? How do I recompile this kernel?
Yes.
How do I
100%. Yeah.
how do I create an application for a website that does this? I was playing the other day. I created basically a Lucy Live with inside of a web browser within about 25 minutes with this thing, sending RTP back and forth on a server. It blew my mind. And
Yeah.
these are the things that is now being opened up to the world because of this, and it's an endless pot. And people that have experienced just that small inch of experience with AI, and not AI, but with the technology, they can take that and go miles with it because it is just so advanced. It's way above. And AI is different than, there's a lot of people that talk about algorithms and call it AI, but that's a mathematical algorithm, like, audio processing. We have tons of that, and there's a lot of marketing that shapes it, and that stuff drives me crazy, but I'll leave it at that.
Hey guys,
I
we got to
think
take a quick
sorry.
break. We got stuff coming up right after the break, including we can take a quick look at that Volvo ad. It's only 35 seconds long, and then Matt has supplied us with some I don't know what it is. I guess it's music, but I haven't heard. It's going to surprise me as much as you. It's This Week in Radio Tech. Matt Aaron and Anthony Kazub are our guests. We're talking about AI generated stuff, and I hope this eventually will lead into, what does it have to do with engineering? But sure, engineers like to have fun, and our creative juices get flowing when we figure out how stuff works. Anthony gave us a good preliminary dive into how some of this stuff works, and I got to tell you, Matt Aaron has made a whole streaming radio station with this kind of stuff. So more coming up. Coming up. Hey, our show is brought to you in part by Angry Audio at angryaudio.com. And oh my goodness, Angry Audio's equipment is just everywhere. I was on Barry's lunch meeting today, and they were talking about the mic processing that comes from Angry Audio, and talking about Corny Gould and his cool algorithms. But also, if you're building a new studio, and there certainly are new studios being built. I'm about to build some new studios probably next month in Hawaii. And the Angry Audio's got a lot of things that you need to have on hand when you're building a new studio. Things like simple things like the studio signal light. This is a stack of lights, small or tall, whatever you want. And you can signify that the phone's ringing, or somebody's at the front door, or the pizza's arrived, whatever you need to. There's the signal light gadget to light up those studio lights. Easy peasy to connect up. If you need to connect a computer via USB to some analog audio input or output, like on a traditional audio console, or the new Rave mixing console for radio, use the USB audio gizmo from Angry Audio. This is a super high quality audio interface for USB audio from a computer. You get super clean audio from this thing. I know, I've tried it. I've used it to solve some real world problems, and it absolutely works. There's the Bluetooth gadget, the easy way to connect your Bluetooth phone, either in high quality audio mode, going one way from the phone to wherever your destination is through the Bluetooth gadget, or to use it as kind of a hybrid, if you will. You can connect your phone and have a two-way phone conversation through your audio console that way. There's the headphone gizmo, which is headphone amp. There's the headphone disconnector, so you won't have any more broken connectors with leaving the plug in the headphone amp, right? There's the mic tally gadget. There's all the Studio Hub accessories, all the wiring adapters and connectors and dongles that you need to wire up satellite receivers, to wire up any of the audio over IP devices that are on the market, like from Axia Audio or from Wheatstone or other companies that use those RJ45 connectors for audio. There's the guest gizmo. Give your guests their own headphone control and their own mute control if you like. Plus, there's the talk show gadget, the button gizmo, and so much more. It's all at angryaudio.com, the place you need to visit before you build a studio, and you can order any of that stuff from your favorite dealer. So check it out. Hey, This Week in Radio Tech is also brought to you by Max Connect. And Max Connect wireless, and their U.192 audio interface. Now, here's the little secret. Max Connect got together with Angry Audio and had Mike Dosh and Angry Audio design this super interface to go between a computer that's running some FM processing software like Omnia SST or Stereo Tool or Breakaway One, and you want to get that audio out as a multiplex or composite signal to go into your transmitter or to go into your composite STL. Yeah, there's a couple of sound cards on the market that do a kind of an adequate job if you can find them. But the thing that's designed to actually do this job is the Max Connect Broadcast U192. It's an MPX USB sound card. It's designed exactly to do this. Plus, it's an input card as well, so you can feed your analog audio into your computer this way or your AES EBU audio into the computer this way. And then what you get out is composite audio to go to your transmitter, your exciter, or to your composite STL. Again, this is running, FM processing software on your Windows PC. So that is really cool. The U192 is designed absolutely to do this. The output sample rate, it's fixed at 192 kilohertz, which is why this is called the U192. So it makes a perfect, and I mean a perfect, multiplex composite output from your PC. Don't try to do this by piecemealing it. Get it right. You'll be happy you did because your station will sound terrific. Check it out from Max Connect. It's also available from your favorite broadcast equipment dealer. Just ask for it by name. It's the Max Connect U.192. All right. It's This Week in Radio Tech. Anthony Kazub and Matt Aaron are both with us. And tell you what, let's say we mentioned that Volvo ad about it being totally AI. Suncast, if you're ready to roll that, it's just
advertising. This incredible video shows how AI is revolutionizing the industry. Creator Rick Deckard used Runway ML Gen 3 Alpha to generate an entire Volvo ad in less than 24 hours, from concept to final cut. Forget about expensive shoots and long production timelines. AI is making it possible to create stunning visuals quickly and affordably. Watch as Rick breaks down the process and reveals the mind-boggling potential of text-to-video AI.
okay.
Even that
Wow.
voiceover
Jaguar-
was AI generated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
kind of like
Matt, did you say?
go, Matt.
Matt, you're muted, apparently.
I guess I turned my mic off to cough and then I forgot to turn it back on. There is
I do it all the time.
So what I was saying is when you think about it, this is going to change the industry as far as commercials. It's going to change the industry as far as advertisements. It's going to change all of that. I mean, when you start looking at, you start thinking into this rabbit hole, and this is something that me and a friend of mine had a cigar with the other night talking about. When you start thinking about the fact that Facebook already, I bought a pair of shoes and somehow Facebook knew I bought these shoes and it's giving me an ad for another pair of these shoes. Blew my mind. I didn't even buy them online. I just went into the store. How does it know? I don't know. I mean, it's probably the CIA is watching us.
It's stalking
But
you.
think about this. Yeah. These platforms within the next 5 years are going to be generating ads with AI that are targeted to you, the consumer, to buy.
You've always been the product, though, when it comes to these media platforms. And one of the things I've noticed, so I use YouTube without history. And one of the things I've found is what you're talking about there is definitely a machine learning AI. And what they're doing is they're stalking you as part of the product so you don't leave their platform. So once you realize, it's almost like you have to have this self-epiphany that the machine learning that is following you, not stalking you. Maybe that's stalking you as in like STOC, like they're making stock of human beings' data sets.
Of course they're stalking you.
Well,
There's
let's
money
just
attached to that.
there's money.
It's
Yes,
good
you are the
business.
product. Is it good business though, or is it machine, or are they using the machine against you to feed you what you want, so you become a mirror of yourself based on the things that they have found out about you? So you're right. Like, it is the kind of thing you need a cigar and a couple of beers to really find the solution of. But for me, it's um, if the platform needs your data to keep you on the platform, that's the motivation of the platform, is to have that artificial intelligence about you. But like I said, the words that we're using to describe these things are still new to us. I'm of
Mm.
the opinion that, like, AI didn't generate that content. Okay, 24 hours to make a Volvo ad. I don't know if you've ever worked with ad executives. It takes them 24 hours to decide what to have for lunch some days. and and so when it, and AI wrote that joke for me, by the way. When it comes down to it, like, the voice can be synthesized, and again, that is synthetic media, and I hope we adopt the word synthetic media, because as that ad is being presented to you, as these video or audio songs are being presented to you, that is synthetic media. It's not AI media. It's synthetically generated content. And if we start, pushing this down our customers' throats, they're going to really rebel against it. And I think the rebellion against the synthetic media, it already started with autotune. Well, that person can't sing. Well, because their voice has been synthesized and they sound synthetic. I'm all about handmade content, and I think if I turned on the radio station, maybe not Nashville, but in Canada here, I could do a survey across a bunch of my radio stations that I can get on my dial, and the average song will be 25 to 30 years old. Classic rock, classic songs, and it might be the demographic of people who are in the car, but that there is still a huge value in handmade content and hand performed content. The joke I used in my presentation was, "Is this the end of musicianship?" And I don't think so, because every orchestra is a cover band when you think about it. And we've
Mm.
gone to concerts and symphonies and performances, and that is really the value in it, is seeing that person perform it live, even if it's synthetic content or it's synthetic media. Seeing them perform it live and being part of that experience is really where the value will be in this music and in this art moving forward.
I agree. I agree with you. At the same time, what is scary though, living in Nashville and watching the music industry go from, you got to remember, I mean, we had these things called records, then CDs, and the music industry, in all practical purposes, got really sloppy. They would produce a album that had 12 cuts on it, and only one or two of the cuts were good. And then all of a
Mm.
sudden, this thing called Napster came out, which was a revolutionary thing. And Napster revolutionized again the business model for music. You know, music changed. How we
Yeah.
listen to music changed. And I think AI is going to have that same kind of impact. And there's a lot of people in the Nashville industry, especially in the country, the music. I mean, I even see my daughter. My daughter is just going, she just went to college, just left high school, and she has a high distaste for the AI generated music as a performing person that does performance in that sense. And
I
it's
agree.
Sure. Yeah.
understandable.
Yeah.
But at the
Yeah.
same time, as this technology evolves and gets better, it's going to be less and less transparent, just like all of their technology gets adopted. And as that continues to move forward, I fear we're going to wind up losing a lot of that. I mean, we've already lost a lot of that in the music industry. Like, you watch from the history of music when Alabama used to cut songs, or you talk to some of the older guys, like you're talking about performing artists, and they would say, "Hey, I'm going to come in with this ballad, then you try that, then you try this," and you would watch this happen in in a studio. And there's no synthesized drum tracks, there's no Pro Tools, it's in a
Handmade. It's
Atari, or yes,
handmade. It's all
yep,
handmade.
like my cigar. And
Well,
you go, you go through that in this change. This is a rapid change, but our music has got less and less and less intelligence in it over time too. If you look at it, I don't mean that offensively to anybody, but it's just
it's
true.
democratized. Well, the studios used to be gatekeepers, and the music industry, though people don't want to admit it, used to be the plastic industry. And once the plastic industry stopped being a part of the music industry was forever changed. And because we're not shipping a product and we're not shipping a tangible thing, I don't even feel like I own music anymore. Like my record collection, I own my record collection, but I don't own my Napster collection. Even as the players evolved, your Winamp generation, I like to call them, they went away from having files and folders full of files to going into these streaming services. And these streaming services are also stalking you as a user, not as a following you from behind. And they're listening to your tastes, and they're using AI to be like, well, that person likes that Alabama song. Let me present to you these songs that sound like it too. So they're taking the machine learning, the supervised learning, the unsupervised learning of the things that you're contributing to these platforms, and presenting you new cultural ideas. So on the other hand, the music industry has never been so more accessible to me as a person. Where it really hurts is the broadcasters, right? Because the broadcasters, you can't have 200 genres of music on your transmitter tower all at the same time, unless you have HD radio provided by Nautel, the Canadian company, of course. So we're at this point where, like, how do you actually democratize music creation, music distribution, influencing people? The music industry used to be hugely gate kept, right? You couldn't get into the studio unless you could sing, dance, play song when you were beautiful inside and out. You couldn't get into the plastic industry unless you had somebody that was willing to buy all that plastic for you. And now that it's like, well, I could record a computer song if I opened a new tab in my browser window here, I could be multi-tracking a song. So it's accessible, it's democratized. Yes, it has diminished the quality of the things that are available to us, but that's because gatekeeping was actually part of the quality mechanism that made music, popular and good.
Yeah. Guys, we're gonna tell you what. Let's hear this thing that Matt has provided with us. Matt, the first link that you gave us, you want to set it up real quick for us? You remember what that was?
So I think that one is where. So again, Broadcast Engineering Gangsters was all about. I didn't like the country. I didn't like some of the older pop that it tried to create because the music just sounded really artificial. And I found that rap music, after I talked to my buddy in the beta on this thing, sounded really good. I just went with gangster rap. I mean, it's funny. I mean, we're all gangsters in broadcast engineering. We're 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's why Chris Tarr's not here today. I mean, this is what we do. We work hard. I mean, hands down. I mean, I can't think of any other industry where you're on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So I tried to leverage that and tried to do some fun with it. This first one's about a redneck shooting out the tower lights of your transmitter site. Go for it.
Let's take a listen.
Redneck buzzing, scope to the tower, beacons glowing, tick-tock the hour, missiles in the air, antennas in the crush, transmission lines screaming, this here's the luck, bang, 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 crews in the trenches, natural gas hissing, no room for benches, FAA on the hotline, red alert blaring, towers a battlefield, no one sparing, trigger finger itching, aim like a sharpshooter, bullets flying, clip long as a ruler, ricochet or steel, boom to the ground, transmission bleed out, ain't no turnaround. Bang, 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 crew scramble in haste, nitrogen refill, time we go waste, notify the FAA, sirens in the air, redneck sniping, enemy beware.
There you go.
You could kill it. You could kill it.
I love it.
But
I
I
love
mean-
it. Thanks, Suncast. That's awesome.
But I mean, the other one I sent is about tuning up a 418F transmitter on shortwave, and I wanted to do something like tube up. And, you know, I tried the prompt stuff, and the prompt stuff is great. It's intelligent. It does, but it couldn't get that level of what I wanted. And, you know, that one is, I mean, if you want to play 30 seconds of that one's funny too. I mean,
Let's do that after this next break. We got people paying for this show, and I appreciate them. We're talking to Anthony Kazub with the CBC and Matt Aaron, who is a Nashville area broadcast engineering integrator. And he's done some big projects too. So, hey, we're talking about artificial intelligence, having fun with that, being creative with that, implications of that. And I've got a little thing we're going to also bring along after this break, and how these new technology ideas can be used in other industries, other creative endeavors. And maybe we can think of ways, if we're inspired, we can think of ways to apply them to what we do in broadcast engineering. Very, very interested in that. Hey, we're going to hear from our friends at Vox Pro. We'll be right back after this.
Hey, what's happening? St. John here, coming to you from Command Central, and wanted to tell you about the absolute best partner you can have in radio. I'm talking about, boom, Wheatstone's Vox Pro. Now, a lot of folks have used previous versions of Vox Pro, all awesome, but I want to tell you about some of my favorite new features in 7. And for folks who've never used Vox Pro before, I'm about to tell you why it's an absolute game changer and essential for really fast-paced multi-element radio. Lots of different audio software out there. Why Vox Pro? Because it was designed for radio. It's the only software designed to do what we needed to do, which is record, edit, playback in real time. When I say lightning fast, I'm going to show you how fast you can edit stuff up in Vox Pro right now. So literally 3 clicks on the controller, mark left, mark right, everything that gets marked, you hit delete, it goes away. It's literally that fast. So we're going to take this part right here. Boom. From caller 9 to him saying, I'm ready. 5, ready for that secret sound. Boom. All of that stuff, hit delete, it goes away. Here's your edit. You are tackling secret sound, caller 9. I'm ready, St. John. One of the best features of version 7, this is awesome. It's effects macros, and you can literally put a chain of effects together so that instead of having to normalize a phone bit and then use noise reduction on it and EQ it and all that, you can literally build a chain. One button, this one's called call right here. I just click that. All of those processes happen instantaneously. Literally saves 80% of your editing and cleanup time. Final thing that I love about Vox Pro, and there's so much more to get into, but one of my favorite things, you can load it on a laptop. I've literally done my show from a hotel room in Armenia to the conference room at, this was fun, jury duty. Great thing, no one could tell the difference. Vox Pro makes it totally easy. Telling you, if you're looking for the best on-air partner, call my friends at Wheatstone, ask them about Vox Pro, and you will be glad you did.
And actually, if you want Vox Pro at an industry discount, you call Broadcasters General Store at 352-622-7700, 352-622-7700, or go to their website, bgs.cc. BGS specializes in helping you over the phone. Give them a call. You'll have a quick, good conversation or a lengthy conversation if that's what you need. And they'll give you the best pricing, sharp pencils at BGS. And they'll tell you all about delivery, how soon they can have it to you, what payment methods that they can take, all that kind of thing at Broadcasters General Store. Really appreciate BGS sponsoring This Week in Radio Tech. I'm Kirk Harnack here for episode 712 of This Week in Radio Tech. We have Matt Aaron and Anthony Kazub, our guests. We're talking about artificial intelligence. We're having some fun with this too. And Matt, you were just about to introduce us to something else, weren't you? What was that?
So the other song that I did, of course, we got 90 in rotation on this thing right now. So if you tune into the online station, there's no telling you're going to hear EAS, cows at transmitter sites, cats at transmitter sites. Yeah. So this one's about tuning up a 100 kilowatt shortwave transmitter, and you don't have to play the whole thing. You can just start it off at 30 seconds, and the voices are very natural on this one. I tweak the voices. I spent a lot of time working in the technology to be able to change your voice to a low, to a high, to a male, to a female on the upcoming, like I said, I've been beta testing this. It'll blow your mind. Go for it.
Flip that band switch, hit the IPA dip. Tuning up short wave, smooth like butter drip. Play tune and control, find the dip, no lip. Low control for max power, gotta let it rip. Tuba, transmitter humming loud. Balloon smack down, we bustin' pound. Harmonic trap set, don't burn the shroud. That's how we roll, shortwave king, big cloud. Create current flowing, watch that needle twitch. Resonate the circuit, no hocus pocus glitch.
Man, that is
You're
good.
good.
Oh, I love that. I can't say I'm a fan of rap music, but I like that.
It's funny though. That's the thing. It's funny. Like you can't deny it. It's way too funny. And I tried it with country. I didn't like the sound of it. I couldn't get it to sound natural like I want.
Yeah.
And that's why we went with that. And you want to say something, go for it.
I think it's gimmicky, right? So the gimmick is it's good for you and your friends in your small little circle. No, I'm not saying it's small
Yep.
or little, but I'm saying like I once had a cabler. We don't call them wiremen or wire women around here. We call them cablers. It's a great French word. And to say thank you for racking a server, I sent them a little Suno song. Didn't matter what genre it was. Thank you for racking up my server in CER 81 and 82. You're the best that's ever been, and I want to just thank you. And that was the prompt, and it generated a song for them. And it was a gimmick for me to say thank you for doing that. It makes my friends who are interested in that genre of music and that style of music, who are interested in my hyper niche transmitter market, or even my local friends relative to my term, it made them very interested in that little thing. I sent my friend a thank you for the barbecue he cooked and how good of a smoked barbecue person he was. And I wrote a song about my Jimmy the dog, who was a neglected pound rescue, and it was like a happy go. So it may not be for the masses, but the gimmick might be good for the people that are in the small circles. And that's the thing. Like it won't have mass appeal unless it's a beautiful, amazing thing. But the gimmick is great for the small circles. And that's where I think this will be extremely powerful.
Well, it's
Yeah, I
definitely
wonder-
going to change. Go ahead, Kirk.
I wonder how much this is like, before there were pre-printed birthday cards. Everybody made their own birthday message of one kind or another. Or maybe you sent a gift, but you sent a note attached to it. But
They
then
were
with
handmade.
Hallmark or whomever, came out with pre-printed cards, you have a beautiful card. Now, I just bought 2 birthday cards for 2 of my grandkids yesterday, and they were stupid money. They were, $6 and $8 each, but they were cute and perfectly written for the little kids, for a 9-year-old and 11-year-old, and I didn't have to make it. I had to buy it, but I didn't have to make it. And I couldn't have made something so nice as those, not without a great deal of trouble. And the same thing, you've seen ads maybe in your Facebook feed for, I thought my husband forgot anniversary, but then he turned on the car audio system and played this for me, a song just for me. And I
Exactly.
guess they're advertising, AI written romantic music. And you know what, Anthony, after I talked to you at CCBE, I had Suno write a love song for my wife in Spanish.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I called her up, and she was like,
Amazing.
beautiful.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And, speaking of different languages, I don't know if you've played with 11 Labs or if you've seen
Tell me
11
about
Labs.
that. Tell me about that. I've heard of it. I don't know anything about it, though.
So I could take hours of Kirk Harnack talking and take your voice, all the recordings, and I could feed it into this tool called 11 Labs. And what it would do is it would learn your voice, and then I could make an announcement or a speech, in your voice. And then I could also go and I'm just at the website here, and I could choose Arabic or Bulgarian or Chinese, and I could choose the type of inflection, the age of the person doing the voiceover, and do free, or realistic voiceovers. So when it comes down to text to speech. We saw a company at the CCBE who's doing this type of thing. AI DJs, AI presenters. I don't think they'll be able to automate or synthesize banter. Like us three of us, we have this banter and we have a rhythm going on between us. So I'm not sure yet if we're able to automate that or synthesize the banter. AI is a terrible joke making tool right now.
It's terrible.
50 people. It's
horrible.
terrible. You need 50 AIs to tell you it's good or bad. You need to take your joke and workshop it. And we're in the infancy of AI. Like it is an embryo right now in terms of what it's going to be able to do. And I think that once we start seeing it, your birthday card, back to the handmade side of things.
Mm-hmm.
Handmade birthday card. I've got handmade Father's Day cards sitting at my desk, but I don't have a single Hallmark card sitting at my desk.
Yeah.
So there is still this love and value to handmade things. I'm looking at the background of your workshop there, and you've got a handmade capacitor test set, and you've got handmade electronics that there's like this emotional romantic connection to. And I have a hard time believing that we will one day have an emotional connection to an AI generated song, but I'm wrong. And I know that someday we will. I know that one day I'm going to be sued by an AI robot somewhere. I know one day that it's going to happen. I know I've received AI emails. I know I've received AI phone calls. I know I've heard AI songs on the radio. I know I've seen.
Well, there's AI. There's AI automatic dialers that are dialing out to get cold calls. And if you've ever been in sales, these are setting up calls very successfully, believe it or not. And I was really I actually had somebody call and give me a presentation on our business about doing AI cold calls to broadcasters, and they're like, well, "We're having a 35% success rate on getting," and they're dialing on this device right here to you.
Yeah. And it's scary. It's terrifyingly magical, I like to say.
All right, we'll tell you what, the way that the show works, and I haven't warned Anthony or Matt very much about this. In a minute, I'm going to have one quick little thing we're going to talk about. We're going to do our last spot break, and then we'll have just enough time for a tip of the week from each of you. So we're going to go until about 10 after the top of the hour. We're at the top of the hour now. Okay, I want to try to relate the whole AI thing back into other endeavors, the creativity that people have made available for us with AI, and that we can maybe experience ourselves easily by utilizing large language models, AI, all that stuff. So there's a photographer in the central Tennessee area, and his name is Jeremy Cowart. Jeremy has come up with this scheme for improving your selection of portraits when you go into his studio to get a portrait made. And I think this is just genius, but it's using today's very modern technology to make this happen. It's not AI, but it's an application of creativity that wasn't available before. So Suncast is going to roll a little bit of a video here. I don't know. Tell you what, we don't need the audio for this, Suncast. If you just want to roll the video, I'll describe what's going on here. So you go into Jeremy Cowart's studio, and he has an LED wall, and you sit for your portrait in front of the LED wall, and he has all different lighting setups that coordinate with one image every second on the LED wall. You get 60 portraits in 1 minute. You literally sit. Now, he's showing some very creative people here, but most people just go in and literally sit for their portrait for literally 1 minute. And it takes 60 different pictures of you in 60 different lighting situations and background situations. Now, again, this video here is promoting all the creativity that can be done behind that. But I've also seen it in this automated situation where you sit down, the background scene changes every second, like this.
So
and the lighting changes to coordinate with what's behind you. Yeah.
We're doing something very similar. So we use, I found this one, it's a DJ technology by Roland. So I got my tip of my day. I got the tip of the day already. Do you want me to do the tip of the day or no? We'll come back.
Tell you what, hold it. We're going to hold
I'll
people
hold
through
it.
the last commercial.
I got it.
All right. Hang tight. Hey, our show is brought to you in part by Broadcast Bionics. And Broadcast Bionics has this thing called the virtual rack. I know everything's AI and virtual and it's not even real anymore. So what the virtual rack does is it lets you do real broadcast functions like an audio console or audio codecs or audio processing or intercom systems or FM processing, things like that, and or profanity delay. You can virtualize all that, and companies like Telos Alliance, like 2WCOM, and like Sound 4, these companies are all making available software packages in the form of Docker containers. Well, some of this technology is a little bit difficult to implement, at home. Now, a guy like Matt Aaron could get this no problem, but I got to tell you, it's not child's play to implement Docker and the Mac VLANs that have to be implemented and set up properly inside your server. Well, the folks at Broadcast Bionics have totally fixed that. At Broadcast Bionics, you can get their virtual rack. The virtual rack is kind of like it's kind of like a candy store. You receive the server with their front end software already on it. You plug it in, you turn it on, you browse into it, and you choose the applications that you want. You want 3 audio consoles, you choose 3 audio consoles. You want an audio processor for DAB or for HD, or maybe you want one for FM or for you implement those. You just say, hey, install this, install that, and install that. Well, within a couple of minutes, those things are downloaded, the latest versions, they get installed. You set the IP addresses that you want and need for those things, and there you go. They work. Now, you still need to license them from their respective manufacturers. You don't license these end products through Broadcast Bionics. Just as, if you download an app from the Apple App Store, you probably need to go pay the people that made the app if you want to do the in-app purchases. So this is like an in-app purchase, right? You're going to purchase the audio console, but it's going to run in this virtual rack server. So Broadcast Bionics has totally demystified the process of installing and maintaining virtualized broadcast infrastructure in a server environment. And they've got this stuff so sophisticated now that you can have a hot backup. You can have these things running in parallel. If one of them happens to fail, power goes out on one of them, power supply fails, hard drive fails, whatever, bam, instant cut over to the backup system. So, so many cool things are available to do. Failover, you can deploy lots of different applications. If you go to the website, the bionics.co.uk website, look up virtual rack, or just Google, Bionics virtual rack. You scroll down to the bottom of the page and you see some videos there that you can click on. And Dan McQuillan will give you an explanation of how virtual rack works. He also did a TWiRT episode with us right about a year ago, did a TWiRT episode explaining in great detail about how virtual rack works. So cool. These are getting installed all over the world, as Broadcast Bionics is definitely a worldwide company. So if virtual technology is interesting to you, check it out from Broadcast Bionics. Thanks a lot, Dan McQuillan, and everyone at Broadcast Bionics for sponsoring This Week in Radio Tech. All right, let's see. We had something from Anthony about a tip of the week, and then Matt will be next. Oh, okay, Matt. Go ahead, Matt.
Matt, you go first.
So, you want me to give a tip of the day or tip of?
Yeah, for the people who stayed through that commercial, that listened to me for 2 minutes.
I know.
Now they get to hear you.
You did a good job. So, does it have to be on topic, I guess is the question.
Matt,
No.
You have free reign. The floor is yours to tell the audience whatever you like.
My theme of the week is definitely document your crap, and document it so that way you remember, and the next person that comes in behind you at least knows what you did. I had an instance this week where I documented where stuff was going underground and no one else reported it, including Comcast, AT&T, etc. And the person that did not document their stuff, that did not supply it, just got their stuff cut today. So Document your stuff.
Oh my gosh. And I take it
It's a good
that,
point.
that this is a great way to document many, many things, or at least include what you get from the phone, from the camera
Yeah,
into your
pictures. Take
Pictures.
pictures. You take something apart. You document it. You take a picture. You know, I mean, okay, yeah, sorry.
It's very good.
one of my favorite
No,
things to
that's
do
very
along
good.
those lines, Matt, is to when it's working right, document it. This is how it looks when it's running correctly. This is how the setup screens work. This is how the config works. This is what the IP addresses are when it's working right. That's what I like to do.
I'm going through photos right now, and I'm laughing because I'm like, how many of my photos are documented things that I did other than vacation? I have more documentation in my photos
Yes. Yeah.
than I do, taking a piece of equipment apart, wiring something.
Guilty. Me too.
I mean, here you go. Here's the back of a transmitter right there. I mean, hard to see, but I mean, picture's worth 1,000 words. It's 5 seconds. Yeah, there's a breaker panel. I mean, I just keep going. I mean, this is document. Oh, here it's still trying to load. I'm in the back of something, and who knows? I'd have to go really scroll some more pictures, but I mean, you just document. I mean, it only takes a few seconds, and you will love yourself for it.
It's true. 10 points.
I
I'll take that.
I agree completely. And Matt, along those lines, last weekend at the Murray County Fair, I documented me and my wife, what we looked like, so everybody would know before we got in the helicopter ride.
I did see those. I did see those pictures, and your hair looked perfect when you were in the helicopter.
I don't know about that. All right, Anthony, what you got for us? Tip of the week.
Okay, so I got a video. I put a video in the chat. I don't know if Suncast, can you play that last video? Okay, so this is a Roland VC1, and what it's doing is it's an HDMI to DMX converter. So what it's doing is it's looking at the video that's on the screen, and then it's converting the analyzed video using machine learning to generate DMX commands to change the Titan tubes that are on the stands you see there. So so I can change a studio's entire aesthetic by just changing the video clip, and all of its background imagery can be automatically adjusted based on that. So my tip of the day is machine learning in real life has some crazy applications that we don't even know yet. And when it comes to having we have multiple studios that move shows around, and nobody can really hunker down in terms of a show. So what we're looking for is new technology so you can move your aesthetic of your show from one studio to another. And the easiest way that was one of my innovations is, well, if I just had a video file that I could play and my whole studio looked like my video file, I would be one step ahead of everyone.
That is wild. That is so wild.
Guys,
we're out of time.
It's a VC1, Roland VC1. Check it out.
I'll put that in the show notes. Roland VC1. All right, cool. Thanks to both of you guys. Two brilliant engineers, so full of creativity. Matt, your web stream is at broadcastengineeringgangsters.com. Is it plural? Gangsters?
I registered like 6 domain names with it, so that's one of them. I just picked the top one. But yes.
All right, we will get that link. I got the web page open, and is it streaming 24/7?
Yeah, it's streaming. It's on a VM here. It's processed by Stereo Tool. I even got the big voice guy that goes processed by Stereo Tool, and that was handmade, by the way.
There you go. Handmade, not synthesized, not synthetic, not synthetic.
You know what I miss?
I couldn't get it to.
I miss the Winamp guy. It really whips the llama's ass. I miss that.
It's all good.
All right.
You can get it. You can get it anytime you want, Kurt. But thank you for having us. It was a pleasure.
It's good to have you. Anthony Kazoob from Canada, from the CBC, and Matt Aaron from right here in Nashville, Tennessee. He's available for big projects, big expensive projects. Matt Aaron will come see you. All right. Wow. Thank you so much, gentlemen. We will publish the show tomorrow. I'll send you links. You can put it on your social media. And thanks so much to Suncast, really on the ball and getting all these clips going for us. Thank you so much for your expert help, Suncast. Really appreciate you. We will we'll go, and we'll see you next week on This Week in Radio Tech. Bye-bye. We're going to take pictures, or what are we going to do? Okay.